Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades and the weekly recap. Before I get into the video, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, I did finish the week with 17 wins, 2 losses for a win rate of 89.47%. So I got over my goal of 85%. Definitely pleased about that, and having a rough week last week. So that definitely did help. So the trade ideas room on the 17th, which was Monday, I said SPY calls over 413.50, which is right here, the area from where it rejected pre-market on, actually we'll just say Sunday night. It came down a little bit. I mean, I could have used that, but I kind of rounded up. I like the whole dollars and half dollars and stuff like that. I don't like picking like random numbers. It makes it easy to remember. So that's why I picked that number. Now, the first trade of the day, I don't even have my Twitter up to even look at that. So get already behind as it is. Let's see, I've not been playing the first half an hour. Sometimes I've been waiting out the first hour on Tuesday. Monday. I can't get anything right now. Jesus. Monday, I didn't wait the first hour out. I took the first trade at 10:25, which was right here. And this has been very trappy. This is why I've been waiting out every day the first 30 minutes because of this kind of action. The first candle was green, then you get the breakout. Of course, it was a fake out. So I mean, I usually I used to play the opening range breakout, but because of the fake outs, they're so fast, it's hard to get in and out, and it's just been too risky, and so I've been avoiding it. So this was a fake out. Then it came quickly down to near lower day. I'm almost to another fake out. You can almost count the double fake outs almost every single day. There's two. There wasn't really quite two this time. I mean, it depends on how you looked at it. If you looked at the body of this candle right here, yeah, that could have been number two. But this early in the game, this early in the day, when things are more volatile and when the market's trying to pick its direction, I would have gone with the wick. Just because the wick's kind of tiny and it's lower day. So, but if the wick was like way down here, like we could even say 412, then I would have gone off the body and that would have been a fake out. So I'm just saying hypothetically, sometimes the wicks are way too long, and if you take something at the wick, sometimes it can just you can get burnt. So I'm just laying out some hypotheticals so you guys get an idea of how I look at things pre-market. But yeah, I waited out the first 30 minutes. I think I was trying to wait out the first hour, but I got kind of like impatient, I guess you could say. So I grabbed the 41.45 calls at $7 at 10.25, which is this candle right here. Fake out, came to lower day, bounced to another fake out to lower day, then it came back up. Then when it came back down right here, as you can see, the next candle opened right here. Actually, no, I think I took it this candle. Yeah, I took it this candle. Okay, I didn't wait for this candle. Right here is when I took it, right over the 413 area. I took the 41.45 calls at $7. And it came back down here to lower day, and I averaged down right at the lower day, thinking that we were going to get this kind of scenario again and then rip. But I was wrong, and it dumped, and I ended up cutting it. I did add more at 220, making my average 460. I didn't have much size, so I added more. I don't remember how much I added, but if I had to guess, I probably had 5, and I added 15. So I do play the morning smaller. When you start trading more and things start working against you, like certain periods of the day, like the first hour, the last hour, which usually been the best time to play, but Lately, it's just been too many fake outs. It's when you want to play the smallest or just avoid it altogether. So I usually, if I don't avoid it and I do play it, I do take a chance. I will play smaller, and that's why I do that. So until the first hour changes, this double fake out stuff, choppy hour, I will keep waiting out the first hour until things change. Yeah, on Friday it just ran and kept going, but back to the chop. So the market is always changing. You need to change with it and make mental notes when things happen because they usually happen more than once. The market likes to go in like little cycles. It likes to do certain like action. It's got like a personality, and it likes to act a certain way for a little bit of time. Then it will change its personality. It's like acts bipolar. Then it just or split personality disorder, you want to say, and then a week or two later, it's going to do something different. So the market's always changing its personality. So you just got to adapt to it. I always compare the market to like a toddler because it's got the attention span of a toddler, especially when news comes out. Bad news comes out, it will dump. Then like 10 minutes later, be like, I don't care, whatever. Then it just starts ripping a V rally and acts like it never happened. So it's got the attention span of a toddler. It always has and probably always will. So, so I did stop out at 2 on those calls, and I did switch to puts at 12.14, which is should have been right there. On 12.14, would I take it right here? Okay, so I probably took it right here. 12.14, yeah, I took it right here. As you can see, get this big red candle, and it bounced back up to the ICT trend line. It came back down. You can see the bodies of these candles right at the 411.50. So when I broke below it, I grabbed the 41.30 puts at 780, and they went from 780 to 870. Not quite $1, but close. Didn't break below a day, so it was kind of just chopping. Then I switched to calls at 10:38, which is right here. Because I took this and it failed to break low a day and it came back up, I decided to grab it over this area right here, the 411.85. You can see the top of these candles right here. That's where I grabbed it. It did pull back a little bit, then it ended up popping. So I grabbed the 41.30 calls this time at 620, and they went from 620 to 690. Just having a hard time figuring out what SPY's going to do here because it did break this area. It didn't break low a day. That's what made me led to believe that, okay, we're going to pop. It failed to break low a day. We're actually going to just keep going. And when it failed to pop here, it dropped. It came back up and failed to pop again. I was like, okay, we're in a bear flag. But I didn't really want to grab puts right here, even though I probably should have. I just kind of ignored it. I did break low a day, but when it did, it quickly got bought back up. I probably should have bought calls right here. Just after seeing this candle, what ends up happening is that that market makers like to play games before the real move comes, and this is a perfect example of that. You got right here where it's starting to look like it's forming a base, and it looks like it wants to pop. But it's getting fake outs, like it's starting to run fake out, and then a lot of people are thinking bounce right here, me included, and then they came back down here and flushed out the stops. Then this real move happened. So people were taking calls right here thinking bottom was in, which I can see that happening, but it was also still in a bear flag. But because it failed to break low a day and hold, and it got quickly bought back up, it was a stop hunting little game right here from the market makers. So people had calls, they flushed them out. People had stops probably down here at the 411.25 area, or even down here at the 411.50. So they took out stops here and they took out the stops here, and then they turned around and ripped it. And this is just classic market maker games. I talk about it all the time in the room. They usually like to do this right before a big move. I did get grab calls at 240, which is probably right here. Yeah, I could have taken it down here, but sometimes you're not really sure. The market's just been it's always been trappy and giving you false looks and stuff like that. But it is even worse now. It's really, really, really bad now. I don't know if they're just trying to trap more traders than normal. I don't know. They're just getting greedy, just trying to grab more premium. Who knows what the market makers are thinking and doing, but it just seems like it's a lot more games than usual, probably like 10 times more games. So you just, like I said, you need to adapt to it. And I took calls over this 412 right here to push the VWAP. Now, the thing with the VWAPs and the indicators, I still do, but I usually use them as support and resistance, like the 20 EMA and VWAP, but lately they've been ripping through them. So I've been taking, positions through the VWAP and 20 EMA and to the upside and downside because it has hardly had any resistance whatsoever. It had a resistance right here, but when it really has got strength going, it just gives just a middle finger to all the important indicators because a lot of people use VWAP, a lot of institutions and hedge funds and stuff like that. So it going through them just shows you that they just don't care. It just rips right through it. So I do like to play through the moving averages and the VWAP and other indicators because it has really strong moves through it. So yeah, I had the 4130 calls at $5 right here, and they went from 5 to 1040. So that went 100 plus on that move right there. So that ended up being a really, really good play on that. So I took one loss. I hate taking a loss on Monday. I hate taking the first trade and being a loss on the week. I don't know why. I think that's happened like the last couple weeks or a few weeks in a row. The first trade of the week and on Monday, it's been a loser. I don't know why. It's just, I don't know. Just a weird coincidence maybe. But like I said, I only had 2 losses, so that was 1 loss right there. So on to Tuesday. Tuesday, gotta grind up right here. Tuesday, I said what? SPY puts under 415, which is right here. Why did I pick 415? Might have been this little area right here. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I probably could have picked the 1450 area right in here, or 415, yeah, 415.50, or even 414. But I probably grabbed the 415, probably because of this area, and it was the next whole number down because I was looking at it from the run up here. Where are we on the hourly? Yeah, because we have resistance right here at the 415 level on the hourly. That's probably where I grabbed. That's probably what I was talking about. Was probably the hourly. Every morning I look at the hourly, and every morning I look at the put to call ratio and the economic calendar. So you gotta end up doing that too. So yeah, that's probably why I picked the 415 was because of the hourly. And so what did I say, puts? Yeah, but I waited till 11:11. I didn't grab anything. Of course, this is the one where it didn't chop. It just flushed right through. But because it had a red candle right here, it was kind of, they had a fake out right here. I mean, you had a red candle, then it broke higher day. That ended up being a fake out. And normally that would have been a run to lower day and a fake out, and it would have chopped like it did right here before actually making a move. But it just flushed through right immediately. And the way the market's been not running, I didn't want to chase this right here. I mean, you guys can. I mean, if you think it's going to go, or you think I'm wrong, then go against me. Then use your what you think is going to happen. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I'm just choosing not to chase. And I mean, because there's always plenty of time. The day just started, so you get this exaggerated candle that fell through. Then I just didn't want to chase it, and I just ignored it. It came down here, bounced up. I definitely could have taken this. And got the big long wick right here, small inside candle. Then it came back down to lower day. I definitely should have taken this, but I didn't. I just Still within the first hour, I just didn't trust it. I mean, I stuck to staying out the first hour. And this is the one incident where it did not work in my favor. But I mean, the market has just not had any follow through in the first hour. To me, it just seemed too risky chasing. And like I said, if you want to chase, go for it. I mean, you don't have to sit on your hands like I do. I mean, I'm being more cautious because of the circumstances and the shenanigans the first hour. So I'm just trying to be more cautious and try not to take too many losses. Trying to adapt to the conditions that are in front of me. Once we start getting these follow throughs more often, then I will start not waiting out the first hour or 30 minutes. But right now, I'm not convinced just because it's done it 2 times out of the last 3 days, because this is one and Friday was the other. So, I mean, I'll start doing it. I'll start taking the ORB after the first 10, 20 minutes. But I need to see, I need more proof that it's going to have some continuation. Otherwise, I'm just going to assume it's just going to chop to death the first 30 minutes or an hour, and I'd rather just wait. So, but anyways, I took puts at 11:11, which is right here. No, right here. Okay, get all these bodies right here. I mean, it's trying to drop. It's trying to pop right here. It gets rejected. Try to pop, rejected. It tried to break low day. And it couldn't. Just going pinging back and forth. So I grab puts right here at 11:11. I think it's this candle right here. Yeah, it's this candle. Because you see the body of this candle here and the body of this candle, when it broke below this 413.25, that's where I grabbed puts. I grabbed the 4140 puts at 670 and they went to 780. Now, I feel more comfortable buying puts after it's consolidated and had a couple small candles in through here. And for continuation, I don't like chasing this, even though I know that I'm still at the lower day chasing at the 413 when I could have had a 414 or 414.50. But I always say, you can always look at the chart after the fact and say, okay, I should have done this. But I mean, it's easy to do that. If everyone could just knew what was going to happen, everybody would be a billionaire or a millionaire. But that's just not the way the market works. You need to use your instincts, your strategies, and your common sense to what you're doing. And to me, chasing this just did not make sense without having some kind of consolidation. But because we had the drop here and it popped up here, I should have taken it right here. But because it was in the first hour, I didn't trust it. I just stuck to my guns, and I could have had a good trade. But it is what it is. It could have gone against me just as easy. But because we had the wick here and then a wick here, then we got a wick on both sides, and right here and wick on both sides. So it's like, okay, we got a few candles, small candles right here, indecision candles. So when we got here and it broke below the 413.25, that's where I was like, okay, I'll grab it. I'm much more comfortable grabbing more puts after a big move, after we've had some candles doing that. That's why I like the FU setup. If you don't know what the FU setup is, I have it in the video lessons of what it is and what to look for. So we didn't have any FU setup right here. I mean, this could have been an FU setup, but it didn't break lower day. But the green candle's right there. So, but anyways, I took the puts right there. Then I took calls at 11:36, which is right here. Okay, because when we grabbed puts right here and it failed to break lower day, right here and right here, when it came back up over the 413.50, this is where I grabbed calls. I grabbed the 4150 calls at 710. And they went from 710 to 770. It failed to break out over the 200 AMA, and it came back down. The same scenario as this right here, picture perfect. You get this indecision right here, confusing people which way it wants to go, if it's going to go lower or going higher. Me, I played the puts right here, then I played the calls. Got a little bit of a play on each side, but still, people are getting in calls right here thinking we're going to bounce. People's stops are right here around the 413.20 area, or lower day, which is 413. And what they do, they popped up just enough to get more calls in, and then they flushed it and took out the stops. They pushed it. Same thing happened right here and here. You can see this all the time. I point it out all the time. Same thing that happened. Got people in calls. They took out the stops and they ripped it. Here they did the same thing. Got people in calls. Even had a little bit of a more pop right here to get more people in on the call side. Then they flushed out the stops. Then they pushed it up. I mean, it did chop. We didn't get that kind of a move, but we got a nice little play either way. So then I took calls again at what, 12:03, which is right here, right where I grabbed it, right over the I might have grabbed it even over the 413.50 area after seeing it fail to break lower day and got bought up quickly. Well, it actually did break lower day, but the fact that they flushed out the stops and quickly got bought up, and it got back over this 413.50 area. That's where I grabbed the calls. I grabbed the 41.45 calls at $8. And they went from $8 to $11.90 right there. So it ended up being a nice little play. Then I ended up grabbing puts at 252, which I think is this candle right here. No, this candle? Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember this. I remember doing this. I'm not quite sure what happened here, but we had news of something that dropped. And when it dropped below this 413.70 area, I think that I was going to take it here because I remember vaguely mentioning that I was going to take puts right here, but the move happened so fast that I couldn't get it. I don't know if I missed a filler or I just looked away for a second and it just flushed, but it dumped. Then when it came back up halfway, right up to this 413.50 area, I grabbed the 41.50 puts at $6. You can see the, we'll blow it up. This is where the candle opened, and when it opened, it dropped. Then it popped back up here and closed. So because it retraced up here, it did like a 25-30% retracement. I reloaded, well, not reloaded. I grabbed puts right here. I got them at $6. And they went from $6 to $7.70. So it got a little bit of a move right there. I was kind of surprised that it recovered like that. What was the news? I think it was, I think this was the headline that Russia threatened the UK to attack the UK. It was just an article. I think, yeah, it was an article that was circulating, and it actually wasn't a news headline. It was just one of those stupid articles that people post their opinions on or projections or whatever you want to call it, and then the media picked it up or some news outlets picked it up, and it caused just enough of a panic to get that drop. And then when it bounced, I didn't want to chase it, so when it retraced back up here and pushed up, I reloaded, and then I sold it. And I'm glad I sold it because the more I thought about it, that it was just an article. It was just fluff news, and it was probably going to get bought. I mean, it wasn't a real headline from a news media outlet. It was just fluff. It was like those what are those stock articles that are, it's the street or something like that. I don't remember what it is. There's a place where people can write articles about stocks, and they end up being from traders that are trying to manipulate the market into getting to do what it wants. Street Insider, I don't remember. Somebody will probably correct me in the room, but I used to follow that all the time. And I hate the news when news outlets or when stocks move on those things, because it's not a real headline. It's just an opinion of somebody, a trader trying to influence the market. And to me, that fluff news, the more I thought about it, was just probably someone trying to get cheap shares. Who knows, some hedge fund or somebody trying to get cheap shares before the real move. I don't know. But that's what it reminded me of. So I'm glad I sold it and got out, because it came back up like nothing happened. But if it was a real news, CNN, or well, I shouldn't really consider real news, but I mean, being a legitimate news outlet, a news article, that it would have been probably would have been more significant. But anyways, that just got ignored. So that was the last trade of the day, and then it just chopped the rest of the day. It's been really hard to play this. I mean, just so much chop here. I don't really get that much of a move, just a few moves. I mean, it's kind of annoying. Now on to Wednesday, I think. straight up day. Let me back out just a little bit. Trade ideas on the 19th. I said SPY calls of 412.50, which is right here. Dropped down, came back up, then dropped again. I was like, okay, they're gonna push it. So, and also we're having a bullish divergence. You can see right here. This is making a lower low, and histogram is making a higher low right there. There's the low from there, and there's the other low, which is higher on the histogram. I always look at the histogram for divergences. Now, if you're not familiar with divergences, they can go on for hours, days, weeks. So just because you see it, don't jump in. The best way to play them is if you see divergence, you wait until it breaks the other high, the last high it made. So that's why it's this one. You could have took calls right there. I didn't. I waited it out. I didn't take it till 11:25. So here we go. More games in the morning. Popped up, came back down, right flirting with lower day. Didn't break. It popped up a little bit. Came back down near lower day. Then it finally popped, and then it started to pull back. And I was just like, okay, I don't know. Then we have all these right here. All these candles bunched up. So I was kind of looking at the day before, right around this 413 level, which is where it's been rejected, 413.50, 60-ish. This is where it's been getting rejected here, and here. So when I got below, what time did I get it? 11:25. So when I got below this 413.25 area, that's where I grabbed puts. I grabbed the 41.50, the 41.45 puts at 740, and it dropped from 740 to 840. Got a little bit of a play there, and then it popped. Kind of surprised that it did this. Then it got bought back up. I probably should have taken calls right there, but I didn't. I think VIX. Let's switch this over. Let me get rid of this. Switch over to VIX. I think VIX had a lot to do with my decision making on this particular day, because I went. This is the 19th. VIX was down here. 19th. Yeah, okay. So I was going off the VIX. I was like, okay, the VIX is just, every time it made a new low, I was making trades. Let me just blow this up so we can see it better. Okay, because the next trade I made, I took puts. I just didn't want to take, I was not comfortable taking calls when VIX is at 16. To me, it can go lower. It can go to 15. It can go to 14. But to me, I just felt like with all the unknowns that the lower it gets, the more risky it gets. So to me, I just anytime I got under this 1640 area, I kind of got bought. So I basically was going off VIX at 1203, which is right here. I grabbed the 4150 puts at 610, and they went from 610 to 740. Now 1203 on VIX is right here. Right when it made new lower day, that's where I grabbed the puts, and I was able to get that play. Then I grabbed the puts again, the 4150 puts at 417, which is right here. No, 1217. Right, okay, I got there. Right here. 1217. So I got it there. So okay, so I grabbed puts here. The 4150 puts 610, and they dropped and went to 740. Then when it popped back up again, I grabbed, when they made new higher day, that's when I reloaded and grabbed the 4150 puts again at 550, and they went from 550 to 630. Not much of a move. So I was basically, anytime SPY made new higher day, I was grabbing puts and reloading. So after this particular time right here, I stopped because it just kept grinding, and VIX was chopping. So VIX can chop and stay like this, and SPY can grind up, because I used to trade all the time during the Obama era, and SPY would trade in $1 range for the day, which sounds crazy at the way the SPY moves now, but you only used to move $1.50 in a day, and VIX would chop and SPY would grind up, and it just happened all the time. So I got used to seeing that. So when you see VIX chopping like this and SPY grinding up, that's probably a good idea to stay out for now, even though it looks like VIX is basing, which normally that would look like the case and could pop, but SPY can also grind up. So you got to be careful with VIX chopping, that SPY can just keep going. So after this particular trade, I stopped for a little while. I waited until 337, which is right here. You can see all this chop right here. You even can see right here, this I gave up right here. I kept grinding up, pulled back, made new high day, came back down. I was even looking at, I don't think I might have even taken this trade right here in the challenge account or the IRA account. Then it made new high day, then it just ripped. I mean, look, VIX barely dropped on this rip right here from 414.40 to 415 plus. It barely dropped. I mean, we're gonna see this. In fact, did it even drop? 13, 15, 14. Yeah, see, it didn't even really drop. This is where it dropped. This move right here is right here. It's not this. It's this right here. So VIX didn't even really break lower day. Quickly got bought up a little bit though, but it just stayed in its little channel. And this is what I'm talking about. VIX stayed sideways and SPY kept grinding up. They could keep grinding this thing up to 420, 425 and keep VIX between 16 and 15 before the actual move happens. So just typical market maker games. But because we had this massive move up and it pulled back, then it chopped to try to get back over the 414.60 area, got rejected. Tried again up here, got quickly rejected. So when it got below this area, see all these, this body right here, the body, the wick, when it got below this 414.30, that's where I grabbed the 41.55 calls up 240. And they went from 240 to 650 right there. So that was 100% win right there. It was perfectly timed. So I even said when I posted on Twitter that VIX was too low for calls. Yeah, like I said all the time earlier in this video, yeah, after the fact, I could have bought calls, but my instinct was telling me VIX was too low. It was just too risky for the call side. I'll just wait it out. I'll just wait for something to happen and to wait for to time the puts perfectly, and that's what I ended up doing. So, I mean, it's always easy to look at it after the fact. So I should have bought calls here, and I should have bought calls here, whatever. But you're dealing with real time, and VIX is just too low to be grabbing calls, in my opinion. So, but you could have grabbed calls, but I'm just not. So, you can do what you want. I'm doing what I want, and I was not taking calls. The 20th, SPY calls over 412, which is right here. This high, rounded up. Now, I didn't take a trade until 11:08. I went waiting out the hour. Now, I did actually have some continuation, so we're starting to see a little more continuation going on this day. Yeah, no, it didn't chop. It didn't have any continuation until like 10 o'clock, so for like the first half an hour. But right here, it did have some continuation. I know some people in the room did take the 412 calls over the 412, and they did pretty good over that. So then it quickly got rejected. Then it came back up and broke out, came back, broke out, and just I didn't grab calls until 11:08, which is right here. I bought the dip. Yeah, I bought the dip. That's what I ended up doing here. I bought the dip. I bought the 41.30 calls at 8.40, and as you can see, it came down here to the 20 EMA and VWAP, and it got bought back up. Basically every drop has gotten bought. Even yesterday, well, actually, what day was it? Wednesday, and drops got bought there, and basically the drops were getting bought basically all week long. Especially the last on Wednesday. So And the fact that it had this nice drop right here, I thought it was a good idea just to grab calls, and I did. So I grabbed the 41.30 calls at 8.40, and they went from 8.40 to 11.30. I didn't touch calls again. I didn't want to reload. It kept touching VWAP. It did go underneath VWAP, then it popped back up. But I did grab calls at 12.33, which is right here. Right here. No, right here over higher day. So I could have grabbed it right over here, right over the 412.50 too. Because it bounced off VWAP, came back up, bounced to VWAP, bought back up, and then it broke over this. I could have bought it here, but I was being a little more cautious. I got it right here. I got the 41.35 calls at $9, and they went from $9 to 10.80, and that push right there. As you can see, it came back down. Then I bought calls at 154, which is right here. And I probably shouldn't have done that. This is a mistake I should have probably not done, but I see why I did it, because it's pushing up. Got a red candle right here, pull back a little bit. It opened right here. As you can see, I'll blow it up as you can see. It opened right here, this candle, and it popped up over higher day. I was like, okay, we're going to go right here. Yeah, my voice just cracked big time. I sound like a demon. But anyways, it opened right here, and I thought I'll go over higher day. I'm going to grab calls, and it just ended up being a fake out. And this is the classic fake out that I was talking about. Dropped down a little bit. It got everybody in puts right here, thinking the top was in. People grabbed puts, and they pushed it up to higher day to take out stops. And then it finally flushed me. Got the pullback, thinking we're going to break over higher day. And I grabbed the 41.50, the 41.45 calls at $6. I grabbed them small because we were pretty exaggerated already. When I got over 41.55, I'll say, and then it quickly came back down. Then I tried to average down, which was a big mistake. Then I averaged down more. I bought more at $1. I make my average 225. Then I just cut it. But this was, a classic where they changed the direction. It was running up. Got puts, made it look like it was starting to make a U shape, which it did. It made a U shape. But what they did was, when people started to grab puts right here, they made it pop to take out the stops from the put side, which got me in and then stopped me out because I was on the call side. I had the wrong mentality, but they took out the put stops and they flushed it. So, but I was smart. After it stopped out right here, I did notice that that's what they were doing. I took a loss. I think I didn't take it till 231 is when I averaged down. So I initially bought it right here. I didn't take it again till right here. Yeah. Kind of puzzling about what I did. Yeah, so I bought the calls up here for a higher day breakout. I know I'm kind of going all over the place. I just wanted to explain how, they changed the direction, and they got people on the put sides, took them out, and how I thought it was going to continue. It was a pullback, and it was going to continue ripping more, and I just got it wrong. I got the calls, and I averaged down right around in here somewhere. Then I ended up cutting it. So, but when it got to VWAP, I switched to the other side. I grabbed puts. I grabbed the 41.30 puts at $6, and then went from $6 to $9.50. So I did switch sides down here eventually, but for some reason I just thought, okay, we're going to break higher day, and we didn't. We were going to pull down the VWAP again. So I was like, okay, we're going to we're going to bounce. I'll average down, and then that just ended up being a horrible decision. So, but I smartened up quickly, and I got on the other side of it, and we got this move right here. This 410.50 area has been a pretty big area for SPY all week. I think for the last couple weeks. Yeah, so you can see right here, it's kind of, resistance, support, resistance. Let me just blow it up a little more. You can even go to the 2 hour to see it better. The resistance, support, resistance a little bit, went through it, hovering around it, went through it, used this support here, and support here. So yeah, 410 is going to be a big area. It loses this area, it's going to be pretty significant, and we get a nice head and shoulders forming. So we'll cover that on the watch list. But anyways, got that move right there. So that ended up being a nice play right there on that. That was loss number 2. Now on Friday didn't give us many moves at all. Same kind of crap. Traded ears room in the pre-market. SPY calls over 413. Time to go 413. I probably use this area up here. Where's the 413? Yeah, I was going off the hourly. You can see the pivot on the 413. You can see its support, resistance. So I went for the 413 level. It got up there, but I didn't have too much confidence it would. And had a nice little run up right here, and as you can see, the opening. Oh, that wasn't the opening candle. That was the last candle before open. This is the opening candle right here. It was red, and they started the bounce. It's kind of probably trying to lure in calls right here for a breakout, and it did, and kind of a trap. Then right here, it finally broke lower day, doing the same thing it did over here. What day was it? I think Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Red candle, green, then it finally flushed. I waited out. Yeah, right here, second candle flushed. Then I bought calls at 10:18. I did not wait for the full hour. I kind of got in a little early. It dropped down to 410. It quickly got bought. I mean, I thought about buying calls right here. I just wasn't sure, still being in the first hour, half an hour of the day. But when it got over the, what time did I get it? 10:18. So when it got over higher day, when it got over this 412.20 area, I think I even might have grabbed it over 412. Then I grabbed the 41.30 calls at 8.90, and they went from 8.90 to 11.30. Got a nice little play out of that. Broke out over higher day that ended up being a fake out. Then it came back down to this 410 area and flushed through it. I think I grabbed, no, I did not grab calls here. I think I wanted to. I might have did it in the challenge account or the IRA account. I don't remember. I know that I wanted to, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I hesitated. You're going to hesitate. I mean, you're going to second guess yourself because this 410 level has been such a huge area that they're going to, what they're doing is they're building confidence in retail traders. They're conditioning retail traders, and they're conditioning people to buy the 410.50. So every time it goes to 410.50, you're just going to buy calls expecting it to bounce. Well, one of these days, it's not going to bounce. It's going to flush right through it. And that's probably why I did not grab it. I mean, it did go through it, but it quickly got bought back up. But one of these times, it's going to flush through it and stay underneath it. I actually thought maybe this was the case. That's probably why I didn't do it, because I know I was thinking it, but I also wanted to buy it too. But sometimes you just instincts kicked in and you're just like, okay, gut feeling, don't do it. And I didn't do it, but it would have paid off if I did. But 11:22, I grabbed calls. So it was right here. I see why I grabbed calls right here. Popped up the VWAP, came back down when it got over this 411.30 area. That's where I grabbed the calls. I grabbed the 41.25 calls at 810. And they went from 810 to 1080 right here, pushed right through VWAP. Kind of hard, and it's been doing that a lot lately. It kind of rejected it a little here and here and here, but it did eventually push through it. When it chops under VWAP, usually it pushes through it. If it chops over VWAP, it usually pushes through it too. It's just the way it has been lately. So it did chop underneath it, then it pushed through it. Right here, it did chop above it, but it didn't flush through it. So nothing is 100% in trading. Trading is about probabilities and statistics. So didn't push through it right here, but we got the calls right here. And I did grab calls again at a 138, which is right here. And I think this is why I did not grab puts. I was probably kind of like, I probably thought about it. I think I might even grab puts in the challenge here. I think I almost did. I'm not sure. I don't cover the challenge IRA plays And the recaps would take me forever. I'd be spending hours to do this, and I don't want to do that. So my voice can barely handle 45 minutes anyway. So I probably talk more in this 45 minutes than I do my entire day. That's probably why my voice does not like doing this. That's why I need to like the videos and watch them, because it's hard on my voice. But anyways, it kept bouncing off VWAP, but it kept rejecting PDC, which is this white line. So it's kind of like bouncing in between it. And the more it bounces in between something, it's likely to break. So I think I even said in the room, if it got below 411.25 or over 412, I was taking it. And it did get over 412. I did take the calls out, the 41.25 calls right here. And then I got them at 890, and then went from 890 to 1210. And that ended up being a nice play. And I ended up finishing the week nice and statistically. And so I was just like, okay, I'm not going to take another loss. I don't want to ruin my day or my week or have my stats go down or whatever. So I was just like, hey, whatever. I did good today, so I called it a day. It's just chopping more in. I could have got some more plays, but I just say, okay, I'm done. It's too much chop, too much weird shit happening all week long. So I called it. So this recap is probably long, but I covered a lot of stuff and try to give you guys a lot of examples about the mindsets and the tricks and the traps and the stuff that market makers like to do. Because we are playing in their world by their rules, we just gotta kind of know what they're doing and what to look for, and it will help improve your trading and statistics and stuff like that. So I gotta think markets mostly about psychological trapping and games and stuff like that. So but if you start trading with psychology more, you'll end up doing better, because that's basically what it is. So that's going to do it for the video. My voice can't handle much more, and thanks for watching.